Welcome to the Life and Leadership Podcast, where we discuss business, leadership, and friendship. I'm Zach Gable.
And I'm Jared Toach. Thank you for joining us today.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. Jared, how's it going today?
It's good. How are you?
I'm fine.
We're actually recording this in the mid-morning? I don't know.
Afternoon. It
is not quite. It
is 12:42. It's afternoon.
Okay, but this is probably the earliest we have ever recorded.
I don't think so.
When did we record
recorded
earlier?
at like 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock with Tad Dickel.
Oh, yeah. But just you and I, like making a concerted effort. I don't.
Yeah, maybe because it's normally in the
Usually
evenings.
we do it evenings when we're off work. And,
Yeah.
And our eyes are droopy. They're still droopy this week. Okay, I digress.
So anyway, welcome to our podcast. And we actually have a special one. Speaking of Dr. Tad Dickel, going to be taking some clips from the conference that we hosted here a few weeks ago. And so this time around, we're going to
Dissecting them.
be dissecting them. Yeah. So we'll give you a little taste.
What you missed if you weren't
little
there.
taste, yeah, what you missed if you weren't there. And if you were there, thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you were able to glean from the
Man, you're using big words.
big
today.
words. Glean. That's almost
Dissect.
five letters.
Excerpts.
So anyway, hopefully you had a great time and were able to take away some great knowledge from the conference. So
Some impactful knowledge.
impactful. And I know it was really good. It was very good.
It was very
And
good.
we've heard some very good responses to it. So looking forward to doing that again. And we will be sharing some information on that soon.
Yeah.
So soon as we can.
Soon as we have the information to share.
Soon is a very broad word. So anyway, so we're going to be doing some of that, and yeah,
So let's get into it.
let's do it. You ready for the first one?
I'm ready. So I'm super excited. This first clip comes from the initial part of Tad's of his opening
Mm-hmm.
remarks.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting.
All right,
so-
here we go.
About this for a second. I heard John Maxwell recently talk about how he wants 4 things to happen when he communicates with people. And those 4 things are, he wants to be very clear about what they see, about what they know, about what they feel, and what they're going to do moving forward. And so the first one, and I think this is really clear for us today, first one is I want you today to see the possibilities. If you look at research on whether people would choose to live in the future, like in a future state, versus live in a past time, a lot more people would choose to live in a time before us because we think the future is going to be worse than it currently is right now. And actually 3 times as many people would prefer to live at a past time than in the future. And so today I want you to see the possibilities. If we're leading out of fear and we believe that the future is going to be worse than the past, we're going to have a hard time getting people around us. I want you to know that you're valued, and that's something that we need to make clear to all of the people around us, the people we lead. Ultimately, leading is a people business. And so I want you to know you're valued. I want the people around you, to always know they're valued. I want you to feel empowered to do something. So I hope there's something today that you can ultimately feel empowered to make a positive change personally or in your organization. And I don't care how you feel about me. I want you to feel good about you. And then at the end, ultimately what I want you to do is to apply what we talk about today. and multiply that. As a leader, what we can do is we can multiply the good that we can do as an individual and make it have a much bigger impact by multiplying that change with the people around us. So I saw this quote, or this was a headline in an Onion article recently, and the headline was, CEO unveils bold new plan to undo damage from last year's bold new plan. And I think we often, we start the year and we have these bold plans and we're going to make a lot of changes, and how we make those changes is probably as or more important than the actual changes we make.
Well, that was good.
Yeah, that's good. And I love how he wasn't even really presenting yet at this point. It was just kind of introductions, and he was saying what he wanted us, those that were in the audience, to see, know, feel, and do from his presentation and from the conference.
It's also signs of a very good speaker.
Yeah.
Somebody who has kind of refined the art of presenting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I actually remember during this part, this very opening part, I was sitting there writing notes
It
it's
engaged the audience quickly.
So good. So anyway,
So let's dissect it.
yeah, go ahead.
So he used those. What do people see, know, feel, and then what do they do?
Mhm.
Like, people, those are very important as a leader, that you ensure that your people. So the first one, the scene, what is possible. So how does your team? How's that perspective of what is possible? And I jotted down this thing that oftentimes as individuals, we predict what is possible based off of what our past experiences may have been, or what they, or our perceptions.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that can skew or jade what is possible. But as a leader, I want to make sure that my whole entire team sees what is possible.
So what you're saying is, if every time you were to get on a skateboard and you failed every time, and you fell and you landed on your behind,
Yeah.
then the possibilities that you see anytime you get on a skateboard is that I'm going to fall and land on my behind.
Right. Correct.
So it can be skewed, whereas someone else who's either never been on a skateboard or who has had great success on a skateboard, the possibilities that they see are different.
So then what you want is your whole team around you to realize that, yes, I keep trying, right, to ride the skateboard. And you also want your team around you to see that eventually I can ride the skateboard.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the possibilities,
Yeah.
to see what is possible for an organization, for a company. I guess that kind of goes to shared goals, missions, visions
Mm-hmm.
for an organization.
Yeah.
And how do you empower your team to really to make sure that they're all on board,
Mm-hmm.
the same,
Yeah.
and ensuring that that's, yeah. So that was a good one.
That's good.
And then his next one was no. And I think this was where he said,
That you're valued.
was it valued or
Yeah.
empowering?
No, feel empowered, but
Yeah,
no.
Know that they're valued.
Yeah. For certainty that, yeah. And that's something that you can't create without a culture that you are being very, very, intentional. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that you can't create without a culture that is extremely intentional.
Yes.
Like, you have to have an intentional culture of building that trust and making people feel valued.
Yeah.
That doesn't just come naturally.
Yeah. So
Human nature is completely against that. I think anyway, it's, in my opinion, human nature is
because human nature is very self-centered.
self-centered. In most people, don't see. It's not natural to just see the good in myself. Like you think of most people when they look in the mirror,
You find the flaw, right?
you find the
Before
flaws.
you see, before
And
you
you-
see,
When I look in the mirror, I see fat.
oh my word,
I see ugly. I see flaw. You know,
really?
then the natural.
Go
You
see
know,
your
the human.
therapist.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
But I think, and there's some that are they see all the good in themselves. But for the most part, I think I think the human nature is to not like what you see
Yeah,
and to not
well,
feel the value.
and so not to like jump on this Maxwell kick, right? Because these four things came from John Maxwell, but he
We were just talking before the podcast how much we love
I know
John Maxwell.
Maxwell.
His and the new book, I haven't got into it yet.
Yeah,
but
that's
you've-
what I actually was getting
Oh
ready
my word!
to reference. So,
Yeah.
the charismatic leader, basically like, and you just have to read the book to know. And if you know John Maxwell, not to take that like, oh, that sounds like a little bit egotistical or something odd, out there. But one of the things that he talks about in there is important of getting to know people and putting and valuing people, others above yourself.
Yeah.
Like putting others first, and letting them know that.
Mm-hmm.
And like, because then people, when a charismatic leader, those qualities of a charismatic leader are those who people, when I'm around you, I feel valued.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I feel heard. I feel known. And I think that's what he's getting at that
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next point.
Well,
I'm sorry.
no, you're fine. I just think
Well,
I think sometimes it's so easy just to just skim over something or go over it real quick. And I think this is one that is so important, that can drastically change the culture of a workplace or an organization, even a household.
Oh, 100%.
Like any group setting that you're in, if you can make people around you feel that they're valued or know that they're valued, not just feel, not something fake or false, but if people around you know that you value them and you value not only them just as a person, but their opinions and anything and everything that they bring to the table, even if it may not be much, if they know that that's valued, it completely changes everything.
It does. And it changes one of the key factors is it changes your interactions with that person, which then begins to change your perception and view of that individual. Because then all of a sudden it gives you there's a positive energy that occurs between that. And now you were talking about that. And I finished the book already. I listened to it audio. I had a lot of long layovers and long flights.
Yes, you
last
did.
week. Whew, that was rough. But I managed. It's not a long book, but I managed to get through it once, and now I'm on the second round of it again because I always like sometimes you zone out or something happens or somebody interrupts you, so you miss portions, or there's really good thoughts and you didn't get it written down. But one of the things that came out of there that I've actually already applied, which is so crazy because I was like, this is so simple, and maybe I do it and I don't realize it. But one of the things John Maxwell said is that in order for when people feel valued, is start the conversation, or at some point in the entry of the conversation that you're having with someone, of something that you really appreciate about that person. Let them hear from you verbally something that is something that you have recognized that is a quality or something that they have done well. And I was like, wow, that would be when we were talking about building connections with people and that sense of value and worth to an organization. So the very next day, well, not the very next day, but over 3 days, I listened to this book, and Friday I had meetings, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give some of these things a try. And so one of the things was I had a one-on-one coaching session, and I started off the session, we just, general pleasantries, et cetera, et cetera. And then we kind of launched into it. But before I started, I made a connection to something I really valued about that person. And I said, I want you to hear this from me as somebody who is supporting you in the
Mm-hmm.
work that you do. And then I listed out what it was that I valued about that individual and why I made certain choices and decisions about some things that we were doing because of a characteristic that they possessed.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, they just like the energy in the conversation changed completely.
Sure.
Like the energy level changed, and I was like, "Oh, this is good. Like this is really good,
Mm-hmm.
right?" Because then when we got into like some of the coaching stuff, and we're asking about like what are things you want to work on, what are things that you feel like you've done really well, the dialogue went really good because we started from that point of value
Mm-hmm.
of like, here's the value
Yeah.
and like that made them feel really good. Thus, the rest of the conversation, it helped that. And I'm
Yeah.
hoping,
And it builds trust.
yeah. And that was my hope is like, okay, the more often we do this with people, with the individuals that I'm working with, then hopefully the stronger the trust becomes
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
between us. And I'm in a remote situation, and this morning I went down a rabbit trail of like looking up the challenges that happen when you're building trust and when you're building psychologically safe work environments,
Mm-hmm.
being remote
Yeah.
with a remote team. And basically, statistics prove out that it's not the best. Creativity,
You don't
productivity.
say.
Yeah, like that is the hardest, and like creativity
Sure.
and productivity are down 20% or 18%, 18 to 20% in remote environments. And that if you really want to build a psychologically safe environment, like it really needs to
Yeah.
occur in person. But these are strategies. And like, so I can't change all of that, but what can I change? Well, I can
Mhm.
change my type of interactions, like
Yeah.
value in the person. Sorry, I didn't mean to run off on that
No.
rant, but that was like, got me really excited.
It's actually funny talking about remote communications and things, and how trust is not there in a fashion as much as it is in person.
Mhm.
And on a different style, I found this out last week or the week before, I can't remember. Anyway, I love cars.
Yeah.
And I love car shopping. It's just a hobby of mine.
No.
Well, it was actually a local dealership. A car came available that our family wanted to go see, and so we planned an evening around this. I contacted them on a Monday morning, and they said yes, the vehicle is here. And I said I want to make sure. And this was all electronically. It was all through text or email. And so I said, I just want to make sure it's actually on site, because the pictures that are there, you can tell they've been cropped, like it's AI.
Mhm.
And so I want to make sure that the vehicle is actually there. Can you get your hands on the vehicle, your eyes on the vehicle, make sure it's there, make sure it's still available? And I can't remember the name of the person in the text, but they said,
AI chatbot probably.
They said, it answered my questions like perfectly, like exactly, like I was dealing with a human. And, and then text me later on, are you guys still coming, et cetera? And I said, yes, we're stopping at Chewy's. We're going to eat dinner, and then we'll be there maybe a little bit later than our scheduled. And it was, oh, that's okay. I hope you and your family have a great time at Chewy's, and we'll see you when you get here.
Total AI.
But like, and we've had our podcast about AI, and I've actually we talked about it on another rabbit trail. We talked about it this week. I've used AI and my Entre Leadership KRA assistant saved me days of work.
Mhm.
I was able to do, I think that morning, Wednesday morning, I was able to produce 12 different KRAs, key result areas,
Mm.
within like 2 hours. Whereas if I was not using AI tool, the KRA assistant, it would have been days, doing that. So anyway, AI has its
use.
Yes,
When it
yes,
comes to personal relationships.
exactly, exactly. And that's what we talked about with Tad in our podcast here, was that if you're using AI to better your communication
Processes.
one-on-one. Yeah. So anyway, so we show up and the first gentleman we talked to, he's like, yeah, I need to check on this and then he just kind of stopped. And so anyway, we go to a waiting room.
Car wasn't there, was it?
It was there, but it was sold. It was already sold, and it had been sold as of that morning. And so whenever I asked to speak to the person that I had been talking to, they said, oh, that's a computer. And so, which is, again, if it's helping, it's fine.
Yeah.
But to get back to your what you were talking about with remote work, now that trust, that because I thought by the answers
Your
and
trust
by
with that company went.
trust for the company went way down because
Yeah.
they put everything into a robot.
Yeah.
And it left us, and we were there waiting for 45 minutes or greater. And then we couldn't even test drive the vehicle. We couldn't do anything because it was sold.
Yeah.
So,
So your trust level with,
so
totally down.
and it's got to be the same way when working remote and when not being able to see someone face to face and shake someone's hand and see the reaction on
Shutting cameras off, not being on camera, not being
Exactly.
the same, because you gain in it. And we've talked about this before, so I don't want to belabor the point, but we've talked about that. There is an atmosphere that you create in a
Exactly.
physical setting
Yeah.
that cannot be recreated in a
Yeah.
remote setting.
Yeah.
But back to Tad's.
Sorry.
No.
Rabbit trails.
No,
Rabbit
that's
trail-
I'm
we
known
call
for
it-
him. I am 100% known for him. People that know me, yes, they know that I go down rabbit trails all the time.
So feel.
Yeah. So going back to that, didn't we jump on feel already, or have we
Empowered. No, feel empowered.
Okay, feeling empowered. Yeah. Yeah. So do those around you feel empowered? And what does that look like in their role, in their spot? Do they feel empowered to have a voice? Do they feel empowered? And how can you empower those around you?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's so crucial. And I have found empowering people can actually save you a lot of time.
Yes.
And let me explain this just a little bit. So recently I've been editing some procedure guides, guidelines, resource documents, things like that for employees. And I'm not superhuman, so I can miss stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have asked people around me, can you look at this? Can you review this? Can you check this?
Mm-hmm.
Can you check grammar even? Because maybe I've reviewed it 1,000 times.
That is something you struggle with, this grammar.
Really?
Hilarious. You've been in the education world your whole life, and sometimes
Is
I
it
receive
grammar or
text
is
messages like, what is this? What's this supposed to
Okay,
say?
that is different. You have now put me on the defense mode. Thank you. Our relationship has just taken a dip. You will need to rebuild trust now.
You need to see the possibilities.
See the possibilities of growth. Okay. Anyways, where were we at? Oh, okay. So empowering people
Yeah.
around me. So one way that I can empower people around me is making them feel comfortable in having a voice or calling out things that need to be added or edited or things like that. And it's that's something, I don't want to say simple, but it's meaningful to some. And so then they feel like they have a say in what is happening around it. That's empowering.
Yeah.
In my opinion. I mean, that's just a small aspect or component. So, so if you have a new manual, you have a new procedure guide, if you have a new something coming out, how can you empower your employees to be part of that, right? Because oftentimes these manuals, procedure guides, et cetera, are rolled out and employees are like, oh, well, this is really nice. Wish I would have had some say or thought, or I wonder why, instead of being a part of it.
Yeah.
And so anyways, that's just a way in my role currently, that I've tried to empower people around to have a voice, to have a say in what is going on, what is happening, and also make them feel, it also shows I'm human too,
Sure.
because when employees feel like, hey, do you mind if I just do a couple quick edits or I'm like, absolutely, 100%.
And that goes back to being valued as well, is that, needing,
All of these
feeling
really
needed.
go together.
Oh, yeah, they do. They do.
Yeah, hand in hand.
And it's funny that you said, when you were talking about being empowered, so Thursday night, I know you weren't able to be there, but at
I
our
was in an airport
yeah
somewhere.
at
don't
our
know
church, our pastor was talking about leadership, teaching about leadership, and during that he at one point he looked at me and said, "You know, you run a business," and actually the thought that went through my mind was, "No, I really don't run a business. We own it.
We own a
But-
business,
we
but
own a business, but."
it's
I
a
run
team
I
effort.
run maybe 5% of it, you know.
Yeah.
And we have a tremendous leadership team that runs a huge portion of it, most of it, and then everyone in their own perspective or in their own
role and place.
role in place, they run it. They you know, and so I didn't say that, and I didn't, you know, it's
Oh
not.
yeah. Oh
some-
well,
but
it's just a.
it was just a thought that
semantics, but it's a thought.
went through my mind was no, I really don't run it. I you know. Anyway,
I mean, yes, the
That's-
buck stops with you, but empowering your team, and when you are empowered, there's a level of responsibility that all of a sudden you take. So when the team takes a hit, you personally take a hit as well, because then if you are valued, if you are empowered, if you are seen, and if you see the vision of the company, when trouble hits the company, because it's inevitable, something's going to happen, something's going to break, something's not going to work.
yeah,
People are going to say things like problems, whatever. You then, I don't want to say taking it personally, but it's not about like, well, my boss should
Yeah.
have figured this thing out. It's about, man, how can we figure this out?
Yeah.
How can we help this not happen
Exactly.
again? How can we fix this problem? How can we solve the problem?
yeah,
It becomes about a we effort
Yeah.
instead
Yeah.
of a them. Like,
Yeah.
it's their problem.
yeah.
It's
It's their problem.
issue.
I just work here. I just clock in and clock out. Yeah,
Yeah, that is very much so about empowering people. And then I think, if you're okay with me jumping down to the next
Jump
one,
it.
like, so what is their role? What is their role? What is their job? But I think we kind of touched on that already. What am I to do? What do I do here at this organization or company? And when people are empowered, when people are valued, when people have clarity of what is their role and their place, they know like their day-to-day operational piece. They know like, okay, my job is to, in my current role, my job is to support people who are out in the field working in programs, et cetera, et cetera. That's my role and my job. And I know that is my role, but I also feel empowered that my role also is connected to so many other roles within my organization, and that I hold a responsibility to be supportive and helpful of all those other pieces.
Yeah.
And that's because all of the above are in place.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's clarity in what I know that my role is supposed to be. And yeah, while I might do other things, that might not be defined in my job description or whatever else, but that's part of that. It's connected to my role.
yeah.
Right. I don't know. You want to say any more about that?
Let's do it. Let's do this next
Let's
clip.
do the next clip.
And actually, I think it'll work
Launch.
well into. Yep.
The U.S. fell out of the top 20 in the World Happiness Report. So this is a international
Shocking.
study looking at happiness, looking at well-being of people, and we dropped in 10 years from 11 to 22. So let me ask you this question. I'm gonna work the room for a minute. What people under 30, if you rank people under 30 from different countries, where do you think people in the U.S. under 30 rank out of the 143 countries that were included in this study? Anybody want to guess? How'd you know this? 60 seconds. So that's a pretty scary number if you think about, what prosperity should look like, what our country should look like. And so if we have a trend where overall we're at 22nd, but then we have young people that in the 60s, that's a concern. In addition, we had employee engagement drop to a 10-year low last year, and employee engagement is really measures somebody's commitment to doing their work. So, how committed am I to doing my work? Am I just, am I psychologically committed to doing this work? Or, is it just something I show up and clock in and clock out? Or is it something like I show up and I'm going to make things even worse?
Show up and make things worse.
Yeah.
Wow.
You ever seen one of those before?
Yes. We probably all worked with some of those
Yeah.
people. It's funny. No, but while that statistic that and I'm not exactly sure, and I would love to see like the whole report and the analysis and all those things. Well, in some ways it was shocking, and in other ways it is not shocking.
Yeah.
I think you and I both know, and maybe our audience too, if you are in tune with the world and the people around you, it is not shocking that we have dropped from 11th to 22nd in happiness.
Yeah.
It is concerning that next generation of the workforce, the happiness level, for those under 30, that is a little bit, it's more than a little bit concerning.
Yeah.
It's very concerning. Because that's the people who are going to be doing the bulk of the work. And we know that if your level of satisfaction and happiness and all those things are not strong, the work that you're doing, well, and then that's what he also went on to say, like employee engagement commitment has also, well, I mean, that's strong correlation between
Exactly.
between all of those.
I was at lunch with an acquaintance the other day, actually someone that we met at the conference, and we met Wednesday for lunch, and we were discussing the conference among other things in the world of leadership. And we were diving into this a little bit actually, and talking about how sometimes you can find a person, whether it be a young person or an older person, that is just
category
that is just surviving in a workplace, in an organization, and you can uproot them and you can put them into a different organization or workplace, and they thrive. And we were talking about, I can't remember exactly how we got on the conversation, but it was along these lines of how you see the normal is disengaged in a workplace. The normal is working remotely and productivity going way down. The normal is clocking in, clocking out, as Tad said, or clocking in and seeing how much I can mess up, then clocking out. That's the normal, if you will. But you can take someone that's in one of those normal places and you can put them into a business that cares about them and that values them and that nurtures growth and builds trust and has a culture and core values, like one of our core values, which we stole from the Ramsey Group, of having a self-employed mentality and taking the ownership and the empowerment that you're given and running it like it's your own. And you can see people that go from a workplace where they don't care at all, and putting them and surrounding them by people in a culture that does care. And sometimes, and not all the time, there's sometimes people just they don't care and they want to be that way. But sometimes putting them under leadership that cares and that has that brings out the value in them and builds the trust in them, and it's just like a completely different person. And so we talked about this a little bit, about the unhappiness and the disengagement and things, and how some of it is people choose it, but other parts of it is that there's leaders that just to be blunt, there's bad leaders. There's people or managers.
Really?
Yeah, we won't even call them leaders.
Yeah.
We'll just say bad managers.
They're managers because there's a difference.
They don't lead. Yeah, and there's just and so that's like blaming a 2 or 3 or 4-year-old
Yeah.
for their actions whenever the parents don't discipline at all, or they don't show love, or they don't show a better way.
Mhm.
And so it's the same way in the workplace. Again, this is a very broad statement, because there's some that choose to be the way they are and they don't care, and they're not going to care no matter what
Yeah.
place you put them in. But there's a large portion of people out there
Mhm.
that are in a place that the culture of the organization that they're in does not care.
foster. Yeah.
And it doesn't foster trust, and it doesn't foster
Happiness.
being valuable and happiness.
Mhm.
And so you can't expect someone to thrive and to become that in that type
Yeah.
of atmosphere. So anyway,
No, 100%. I think you're dead on. Like, I think you're spot on with all of that. And yes, I do want to throw this out there because there's a thing recently I've been going down these rabbit trails of like personal responsibility, right?
I think our lives revolve around rabbit
Rabbit
trails.
trails, yeah. If I could sum up my life, it's one giant rabbit trail. Where that came from. Whatever. So, but I think I've been on this kick recently. Like, there is an element of personal responsibility. Like, you do have personal responsibility for the choices and decisions you make. And so when it comes on a personal level, I think we do live in a bit of a society now, and I haven't done enormous research or anything on this, but where people do not no longer take personal responsibility for things in their life. So whether it's happiness, relationships, finances, things like that, like we tend to live in a society where we blame everybody else for
Everyone
our woes.
else. Yeah.
Everyone else is for
Yeah.
our woes. However, I think it's imperative that organizations and leaders look at their organization and say, if you're not going to be happy, it's going to be because either you're not in the right field or
Mhm.
not in the right company organization. Like, this is not where you get your where you thrive best.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
So then
You're passionate, you're
maybe
not
it's a
passionate.
misalignment, right?
Yeah.
Or if you're not happy here, it's because you've got too many personal things and you've let that bleed over into
Mhm.
your work environment. Because it should not come from your lack of happiness is because of the type of environment that you walk into.
Mhm.
Now, if you personally are not putting forth your effort, once again,
Yeah.
at a workplace,
Yeah.
that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, if you're unhappy because the boss, you've got written up 5 times this last year because of something that you've done that you've had
Yeah.
multiple conversations on, and you're not either showing up to work on time, you're not completing tasks, you're not doing those types of things. That's your personal responsibility, and you're unhappy because of that. Well, that's you.
Because it's everybody else's fault.
Yeah. Yeah. But if as a leader, I have cultivated a place that is, no, it can't always, like, everything's not joyful and happy all the time.
That's fake.
That's fakeness. Like, that's fake. It's like, we can't all smile all the time.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
like, I enjoy smiling, but life is always not all about smiles.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, like when I look in the mirror and I see the fat and ugly.
oh my word. I think I am going to send you to therapy. Like, no. But anyways, like, yeah, like it is the responsibility, and it's the duty, and it's a big responsibility, right? But you are absolutely right. I think sometimes a workplace, like, there are leaders or managers out
Mhm.
there
Mhm.
that it is not a great place to work. Like, they
Yeah.
have not cultivated an environment. And I'm going down another rabbit trail. So I'm sitting in the lounge at the airport, overhearing all kinds of conversations, very interesting
Sure.
conversations. And one of them really piqued my attention because I could tell it was like a important conversation. And I was like, I wonder if really this should be taking place in an airport lounge. Like, and you could tell it was like somebody from an employee. And so then my interest was piqued and I was listening, and they were laying off an employee.
Mm.
And, like, I don't know all the parameters around it. I don't
Sure.
know what
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
But the way that it was done, it appeared to me after I kind of like watched the individuals and the people, it looked like it was like a boss and an assistant,
Mm-hmm.
and it appeared to be she was either HR or an assistant to the boss that was also there. And as she's sitting in the airport lounge, she's calling this person and just basically it was very
Wow.
whatever. And
Yeah.
hey, this is so and so from X Corporation, and we're just calling to let you know that we have eliminated multiple positions within your department, and that you effectively immediately will
Oh
be.
my word.
I mean, it was just very stark, cold, whatever. And I
Yeah.
thought, I bet that's a great place to work for. So
Oh
it's
my
not
word.
like that layoffs are always avoidable,
Mhm.
right? Like that's
You
and
can do them with humanity.
bingo. And the fact that it was taking place on a phone call, not face to face with
Yeah.
a person, like I'm a person from a company, and can't even look at you in the face and
Yeah.
say that your position is no longer eliminated, and that you have X amount of weeks to apply for your unemployment. I mean, it was very like,
Yeah.
and I was like, the lack of humanity in that. I
Mhm.
thought, I wish I should have written down the name of the company, been like, never work for them. Just it was so harsh.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, and if they're that callous to it, there's no telling how many times that's been done.
oh yeah, because then it was like it was not. No, they were not somber about any
Mhm.
of this happening, because as soon as the phone call was over, there was like laughs, and everything just went on just
Yeah.
like this was a normal part of our being. And I thought, boy, good for that person for getting laid off. That was probably the best thing that
Yeah.
ever happened
Yeah.
to them in their life.
Yeah.
Anyways, I
Wow.
digress. Okay, where are we
What a
going
mess.
next?
What a mess. Oh, well, let's continue this section here.
So we have seen now this drop in happiness in the U.S. We've also seen a drop in employee engagement, and I have to think they're related, right? And as you can imagine, what is it like to have people that don't find meaning in life, or don't find fulfillment, or are unhappy, show up to work every day? We all probably know our businesses could run a little better or our organizations could run a little better if people, had some fulfillment in their life. They had a good sense of well-being. So Arthur Brooks has been doing this research on happiness. He's a Harvard professor. He has some amazing videos and books on this topic, and it's all based on research. And what he talks about is that, happiness is not a fleeting emotion or a final destination. There's no moment where we just say, like, I have hit the pinnacle of happiness now. But it's something that we actively pursue, and it's a direction, not a place. And it's something that we have to think about, like, is this something that I want to pursue, or and continually work towards? So it says here in your handout, so happiness requires action. We become happier by actively changing habits, such as replacing envy with gratitude, and maybe limiting social media. It requires managing trade-offs, and as we age, we often trade short-term enjoyment for long-term meaning.
That's really good.
Wow. Yeah.
It's really good.
And the last thing he said there is just so powerful. Trade-offs, trading short-term enjoyment for long-term meaning.
Yeah.
Like, is that not the world we live in? Microwave society, get what we can get right now and don't worry about the future,
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah. So I think this idea that happiness is not a destination, but rather it's basically a journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's something we aim towards, but
Mhm.
it's no. And this is, and when he said that, I was like, this is so applicable to everything in our world and life. So like becoming a leader and becoming not just a leader, but becoming a strong leader, but becoming a meaningful and impactful leader. Like you put all the things before it, right? The adjectives or whatever they're called. Maybe we should edit that. But put all of those things before, whatever it is,
Mhm.
whatever type of leader. It's not we finally reach there, because if you have reached that point, then you haven't even begun,
Yeah.
right? If you've reached the point where you say, I am now fully happy, have reached the peak of happiness, or the peak of health, or the peak of this, that, or the other,
Mhm.
like, then you haven't even begun,
Yeah.
right? If you have reached the epitome of something, and I think oftentimes we forget that because we are seeking that short-term gratification, which
Mhm.
100% in the young life, in my younger years,
Yeah.
I was seeking that
Yeah.
short-term gratification. I was like, oh, only if I could get this car, only
Hey, hey.
only if I could just get this job, only if I
Mhm.
could just reach this
Yeah.
piece of or this level of salary or position or
Mhm.
title, and we rest everything on an only if, or we rest everything on a
Mhm.
certain plateau, and we lose the meaning of the pursuit of happiness, or the
Mhm.
pursuit of meaning of life, or the pursuit of love, or the pursuit of joy, or the pursuit of health, or the pursuit of whatever,
Yeah.
or relationships, or the pursuit of connection. Like, and there is, I would say that there is joy and fulfillment in those pursuits.
Yes.
Is it a struggle? 100%.
Mhm.
Is it always easy? No.
Yeah.
But you lose that fulfillment,
Mhm.
and you lose that joy. And if people have been around me long enough, they know that one of my big things I always say is that life is a journey, that everything we do is a journey in life, and to embrace the journey.
Mhm.
Like, I've said that so many times with so many people, is that it's a journey, and you might as well enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
No, not every aspect of it is wonderful and
Yeah.
lovely, right? But if you look forward to the next part of the journey, and the next, and the moment that you're in,
Mhm.
and you're enjoying the moment you're in the journey,
Mhm.
or being very present in that part. um
Have you seen, and I've seen them on the internet, probably Instagram. Um, it's a picture, and it has several
I've seen
pictures
lots of
in it.
pictures
Yeah.
on the
It's a gentleman on a bike, and he's looking at a man in a car passing by. He's like, it shows his thought bubble. I wish I had a car. And then it shows the guy in the car, and he's looking at somebody in a sports car, or a Bentley, or Rolls Royce, a fancy car.
Yeah.
Man, I wish I had a Bentley. It shows the guy in the Bentley looking at somebody in a yacht, and then saying, "Man, I wish I had a yacht." And it shows the guy in the yacht looking at a guy with a private jet. Man, I wish I had a private jet. And the point of it is that there's never, as Ted said, and as you said, there's never this point where it's just going to be, I'm satisfied.
Yeah.
If you're searching after that, if you think that happiness is a destination rather than a journey,
Mhm.
you're never going to get there, because once
No.
you get to that, what you think is going to make you happy, then there's something better. There's something greater that you think you need to go after.
Yeah. That is so that is so true, and so important to bring forward, because um once again, not going back to John Maxwell's newest book or latest book or whatever, but I think
He
it's
just needs to sponsor us.
I know, right? Maybe we should take the Maxwell leadership courses. I don't know. No, I lost my train of thought. Oh, but anyways, no, like, in this pursuit of happiness, doing for because we oftentimes look at things as making us happy,
Mhm.
right? So whether it's the car, the money, this, that, or the other,
Yeah.
it's the thing. But what if we focus on what we are doing for others,
Mhm.
and, like, finding our joy in what we do for other people, and
Mhm.
finding, because it is proven, scientifically, research, all that proves out that when you are doing for others, you are the happiest person. It goes back to
Mhm.
this thought of servant leadership, all of these other things. And John Maxwell talks about a charismatic leader. It's about the focus is on others,
Sure.
about doing
Yeah.
for others. And when you, because then it becomes about how much more it becomes about a pursuit.
Mhm.
It becomes about the pursuit of, instead of if I can get this,
Yes.
the final instead of the final destination, it does become the pursuit of
Mm-hmm.
like, how many more people can I serve? How much more can I do for other people?
Mm-hmm.
I would say if we as a society did that more, if I personally, Jared, did that more, think about how much health, depression, all of those things would be less
Issues.
of issues
Yeah.
or factors, right? Because then all of a sudden it doesn't become about me.
Mm-hmm.
It begins, you feel better physically
Yeah. Yeah.
pursuing
It affects every aspect of your life.
100%.
Yeah.
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 Sorry, got on another
yeah.
tangent.
Yeah. No, that's good.
Do we have more to listen to? I don't think we did.
We didn't.
I don't even know how long we've been going.
Yeah, I don't either.
No, but this has been good. This has been good. But
it
I feel
has
like
been
we could
good.
do a part 2 on this almost. But
Yeah. Well, we don't want to. We don't want to.
we don't want to give it all away.
We don't want to give it all away because we want people
this
to
is
join.
Tad's information and this
Yeah.
is his stuff. If you haven't had a chance to ever listen, sit on one of Dr. Tad Dickle's classes or seminars or whatever he puts together, I would strongly encourage it. We have some amazing leaders. Sean Collins was also there at that event.
Yeah.
Check out his stuff as well.
Yeah.
Great.
And we did
great-
a Q&A at the end as well, which went really well.
Yeah.
With,
I mean,
with Sean
these
and Tad.
these
It was, yeah.
I don't think our community realizes what caliber of individuals we have and what we can tap into. So I would strongly recommend that. And then obviously I'm a big fan of John Maxwell. Check out his books.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge fan.
And Mr. Maxwell, our email is.
Yeah, no, it's really good stuff. And I appreciate people. I appreciate people who challenge and inspire.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I felt like Tad did that day. And I was writing furiously, even as nervous as I was, because it was like our first conference that we put together. We did have an amazing turnout. I was telling my family today as I was re-listening to Dr. Tad Dickle's presentation, and I said, wow, it's great listening to it again. And I'm really grateful I can, because there was so much I missed in the moment because my brain goes 100 miles an hour. And so I'm listening to one thing and I'm writing notes, and then he's moved on to something else. So it was so I can't wait to listen to Sean's, and I can't wait, those. I appreciate those moments in time because there's so much to glean and gain from other people.
Yeah.
And I do love pursuing growth.
Yeah.
Like personal growth.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
helps impact people around us.
Yes.
We've
talked about that before. You have to put into yourself if you want to be able to give.
Oh, you cannot give of that which you do not possess.
Yeah.
Like it's a law.
Yeah.
Of nature.
Yeah. Yeah. So make sure you follow us and reach out to us.
You'll hear more of our rabbit trails.
Yeah. But you don't want to miss out on the next conference.
Absolutely.
And it'll probably be the beginning of 2027 is what we're looking at right now. But make sure you follow us. You do not want to miss that. We had just a tremendous
turnout,
conference.
Great response.
So, and even with how busy we were and how our minds were on making sure everything was going well, I mean, we both had some great takeaways from it. So anyway, thank you all for tuning in again, and we will see you in the next one.
Yeah. All right.